Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Not tuning in, that's so overused. Thanks for listening to this week's episode.
Please violently injure yourself trying to hit the subscribe button.
What?
Yeah, it's always smash your head on the keyboard.
Yeah, they're getting progressively more violent
Right.
with YouTubers.
Shoot yourself in the knee and have your head fall onto the keyboard so that you follow us.
Right. Yeah. Welcome to this week's episode of Where's My Invite with Billy and Joe. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so let's start then. Let's start with an idea I've already gone through with you, Joe.
Okay.
The idea of maybe just a little bit of recap since last time. Okay, if you're watching in chronological order. So recently in the news, kind of three big events. Okay, the biggest one and obviously the most serious is the guy who murdered George Floyd was convicted on 3 counts. 420 happened, right? See,
I got my shot that day,
right?
And then I was horribly sick right now.
Another thing we're just gonna acknowledge and not really comment much more is Prince Philip and DMX died on the same day. So they went in.
Okay.
Do you want to go with your topic first, Joe? I have a great segue from the Prince Philip dying, actually.
Okay, go with Prince Philip dying, whatever the segue is.
Okay, so the segue from Prince Philip, now that we've gotten that over, Prince Philip and DMX dying, the segue is to The Good Place, of course.
Yes, The Good Place.
Which you mentioned to me previously. I don't think it's been on the podcast, but you mentioned to me how you cried.
Yes,
watching The Good
last
Place
episode. Oh man, have you seen the last episode yet?
I have seen that last episode, so you know it's going to be spoiled now. And somewhere in the description, when we're done recording this, future Joe, will say where to go once we're done with spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the last episode yesterday.
Right.
Okay, I watched the whole season 4 in like 2 days because they're like 5-minute episodes, pretty much.
25, but yeah.
And so I'm assuming I didn't cry. Okay. But I'm assuming you cried when Chidi is talking to Eleanor about the wave thing. Yes?
Okay, so there's actually several parts where I tear up.
Okay.
But yes, whenever Chidi is talking to her about the waves.
Right.
Returning to the ocean. And she says that he needs to say goodbye to her then and then be gone before she wakes up.
Right.
Fucking
That's
waterworks, dude.
She.
Did you even feel sad about it, you monster?
I mean, I felt sad about it, but yeah, I wasn't crying.
Okay. Well, I'm not usually that vulnerable at shows. It's pretty rare whenever I will fucking cry. I've cried at one part in JoJo's, but I normally don't cry at that kind of stuff. But man, The Good Place gets me every fucking time I watch it. And you know, my dad, every time he reads The Giving Tree, have you ever read that?
The Giving Tree. I don't
by
think
Shel Silverstein.
I don't think I've done The Giving Tree, but I thought of The Giver, which sometimes makes people cry as well.
So The Giving Tree is a kid's book where this kid goes up to this tree and it's like, hey, I want apples. And it gives it all. The tree gives the boy all its apples. Then he's like, I want to build a house. So it sheds all of its branches for the kid whenever he gets older, I should say. And he wants to build a house for his wife. And so the tree gives him all of her branches. And then he comes back. He's like, I want a boat to sail away. So she lets him cut down her trunk to make a boat out of. And so he does. And then she's just left there as a stump. And then he comes back as an old man. And she's like, I have nothing left to give you. And he's like, I just want to sit. And so he just sits on her trunk. And my dad bawls at
that part.
I mean, it's a good book. It really is a very good book. But good kids book, you know. I wouldn't fucking talk about it in the literature class. But my dad cries at that book every fucking time he would read it to us as a kid. And my mom always cried at a book called Great Aunt Arizona.
Okay, also
Uh,
a book I don't know. You're just adding to the list of spoilers you have to cover now.
well, I'm not going to go into Great Aunt Arizona,
Okay.
but my mom cried every time at that. And The Good Place is The Giving Tree in Great Aunt Arizona. I will always fucking cry whenever I watch The Good Place.
Oh, so that's also your Ride of the Rohirrim for me.
Do you cry it?
Every
Right over here.
time they
Okay.
scream death, you gotta start crying. Okay.
I can honestly say I've never even thought to shed a tear at
Are
that
you kidding
part.
me?
No,
When the Horn of Gondor. Okay, this is a conversation we've had in the past,
it is.
but
Yeah,
it's not been exposed to the public really.
that's true.
Uh, but the main, okay, what I really want to talk about with the Good Place, and maybe I'll go first and say establish, and I won't hear any backtalk on this. The best character by far is Jason in
Oh,
the
I
Good
mean, I
Place.
love Jason.
By
He's
far.
such a fucking funny character. My
Literally
favorite.
steals every scene he's
He
in.
does. Yeah,
And when he decides it's time to go, that was the saddest part for
it
me.
was really sad. It was sad whenever Jason decided to go because, like, you almost don't expect him to decide to go
I can't believe
because
he's the
he's
guy that runs
so
out
dumb.
first of
Right?
things.
He's so dumb. You would think he would just be content forever.
Right, and he kind of already is, which is why he goes first.
Right?
Uh, but man, I was watching. There are not enough YouTube clips of or at least the best of Jason Mendoza Good Place clips are not long enough. Okay, he has some great lines. My favorite is I forget the context, but I remember the line where he's like, where Eleanor is trying to convince him to say something. I think to Michael. I think this is season one or season two, where he's like, Eleanor, I'll tell him you're the bomb. You're super dope, and you got hella ethics. Like that's the best line in the whole show. You got hella ethics.
My favorite Jason line is where I don't remember the context of this either, but he goes, "Oranges are weird. Like you eat an apple's clothes, but not an orange's."
Uh,
I
well,
love
that's a good
Jason.
line, but the next best line, okay, in our tier list needs to be where he goes. He's getting interviewed by Michael. He's confessed to Michael that he's not, John Yu the monk.
Yeah.
Uh, he's Jason, the DJ.
Yeah.
And Michael's like, well, you're kind of a failed DJ. And he goes, no, I was actually pretty successful,
Yeah.
which is the best line. And the thing is with this motherfucker, he's so quick with it. Like, he's not bothered by anyone. He's, well, he gets bothered. Like, when Eleanor is quickly roasting the entire team, she's like, dumb blonde from Arizona or something,
Hmm.
turtleneck. And I forget what she says for Tanya, and like literally the dumbest person I ever know. And he goes like, "Wait, but who's that? You kind of skipped over me. I'm next."
Yeah. You're like, do me now.
Okay, so I'm glad. Okay, you're in agreement with me that Jason Mendoza is the best character by far,
I think he's the funniest character. I
right?
think Cheaty's the best character.
The best character?
Yeah. I think Cheaty's the best character. Jason is by far the funniest character,
Oh, no doubt.
but I
Okay,
think Cheaty's the best. I really like Cheaty.
Chidi, you can't go wrong with Chidi, except you're going wrong because you're not picking Jason.
Well,
Uh, Chidi is kind of the real protagonist of the whole show.
I mean, yeah.
So it's like picking
He's
Mario and
the
Mario Kart.
Gandalf of Lord of the Rings.
He's the Gandalf. It's kind of Michael, isn't it? Gandalf
I
also
mean, I'm
has a
saying he's
similar.
the main protagonist. But, in a sense, you're right. Cheaty's more like Frodo, and
Okay.
Michael is Gandalf, and Janet is Aragorn.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I have to think about this now. Janet is Aragorn.
Yeah.
Chidi is Gandalf.
No. Cheaty's Frodo.
Oh,
Michael's
fuck,
Gandalf.
of course. The thing I said 2 minutes ago.
Actually, I hate I hate that this is turning out this way, but
But Chidi
Chidi's
gets
definitely
reborn.
Samwise. Chidi is definitely Samwise
Chidi is
because he's the
Sam.
hidden hero.
So okay, but
And
we can agree Pippin is Jason.
yes,
Okay.
Pippin is Jason. Mary and Pippin are Jason. Frodo is Eleanor because she's the main character.
And you kind
But
of hate her.
and
Kind of.
I I really hate her at the beginning, but she's great at the end.
Right.
But kind of the opposite with Frodo. You kind of hate Frodo at the end because he gives into the ring. But
Tahani is Legolas, of course.
yeah, because she's tall and elf-like, I guess.
Yep. Elf features.
Chidi is definitely Samwise because he's the hidden hero, right?
The true hero. Okay.
Uh, and Michael would be Gandalf. Janet would be Aragorn.
Janet would be the elves. Well, Janet Janet should either be the elves, Tom Bombadil, or the Eagles.
No, Tom
Or all three.
Bombadil is the chick in the medium place because they go to her for
Okay.
help. There's a lot of
Well, they get
parallel
help
here.
for
Do
they
you
get a
think that
lot of
they
help.
ripped off the Good Place from Lord of the Rings? There's a lot of parallel.
No, I don't think they ripped
I
off the
think
good
they
place.
did.
So
I
who's
think they did.
Saruman? So Saruman is
What do you mean? Who's Saruman? The main asshole. What's his name?
the the guy who does the eyebrow thing. I know who you're talking about. I don't
The
know his
eyebrow
name.
thing. I don't know who you're talking about.
Who do you think's the main asshole?
The
The
eye,
judge, Maya
the eyebrow,
Rudolph?
the judge. No, 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 not the
Not the
judge. The
judge.
guy who pretends to be the judge at the beginning. The
Yeah, the
judge is
guy. Yeah,
hilarious.
he does the eyebrow thing.
What do you mean? Always cocks his eyebrow or something?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
His
Yeah, I
last
love the
line is like,
judge.
"Oh, sorry, I didn't really mean for that to be evil. I'm still working that
Yeah,
on that."
I love the judge. How she always hits on Cheedy, and how whenever like she says something about Eleanor, and she's like, "You know who to go to if that ever crumbles. This bitch."
Well, they also have the great scene where they're looking at the burrito and they're like, "Is this a test?" And she just comes and is like,
Yeah,
"That's actually my lunch. That's my burrito."
she's such a funny character. There's so many good characters in The Good Place.
They have a lot of excellent characters.
The only ones that I don't like are the bad Janets. They're so fucking annoying.
You don't like Disco Janet on
No,
rollerblades?
I love Disco Janet. I said the bad Janets.
I love how they have. I love how they compliment each other in the bad place, where they're like, "You suck." Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. Uh, okay, well, the point of the good place, bringing a good place up, was I was trying to figure out which scene you were crying in,
Hmm.
but I'm more importantly interested in the type of character uh, that I gravitate towards. Because I also finished, before I finished the good place, I finished The Wire, and my favorite character in The Wire. I don't think you've seen it, Joe, but
No, I'm not.
if anyone has, the best character in The Wire is, of course, Bunk Moreland. Um,
Bunk
And if you've
Moreland.
seen The Wire, you know what I'm talking about. He's the best character by far. Bubbles is number two. Uh, but these are kind of these are of course the best characters, but they're never really like the main protagonist characters. These are the characters I gravitate towards. Have you seen Korra, Joe?
I saw the first season of it, I think.
Okay,
I
how
don't think I ever
about you've
finished
seen
it.
the last Airbender.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Several times.
Okay, so in that show, okay, there's a lot of fantastic characters, but my favorite character is of course Sokka. Okay, I
Really?
understand. I understand. You can go Uncle Iroh. Can't go wrong with that. You can go. You easily can go Aang. Okay, you can pick Mario. Okay, again, you can go Katara. You can go Zuko, who's also a Mario type. Picking Mario in Mario Kart, but the best character is of course Sokka. Okay,
Okay.
my dude is a baller, and these are the characters that I gravitate towards. Uh,
Uncle
any
Iroh
thoughts,
is my
Joe?
favorite.
Any Iroh's your favorite? Can't go
And
wrong with Iroh.
I think I told you this. My one of my family friends
Right.
knows the second voice to Uncle Iroh.
She's awesome.
And he sent, whenever the family friend, her name is Carrie, whenever she told me and my wife about her knowing him, and he also voices Apu or Aku from Samurai Jack.
I was about to say Apu is Hank something, and I don't even think he voices Apu anymore.
Yeah, Haku or Aku. Damn it, I can't get it right. Aku
God bless
from
you.
Samurai from Samurai Jack. Beside the point, whenever she told us that he voiced Uncle Iroh, Autumn loves The Last Airbender. It's one of her all-time favorite shows, and
How
she
is it? How
loves
can't
Uncle
how
Iroh.
can't it be like in your top?
And so Carrie messaged the guy and told him, and he sent her a voice message in Uncle Iroh's voice because Autumn was like, "I'm gonna cry," because she was so excited about it, and so he said, "Tell your friend not to cry," and said some Uncle Iroh quote, and Autumn has it
She.
saved on her phone.
Oh, okay. Well, as an aside, he should do our intro, Joe. That would be awesome. Uncle Iroh
He
invited you
does.
to.
He's on that Cameo website.
He should do it. If we find some sort of awesome line, that would be epic.
Yeah, it would.
And that would be
It would
great.
actually.
Would be like funny, hilarious, like intro clip.
Yeah.
Uh, if that could happen for this video, and then have Autumn squealing to this one as well, that would be perfect. But that's an aside. So okay, but I'm trying to think of other shows we both have watched because we don't really
Vikings.
overlap in our shows.
Vikings.
Vikings. Okay, I have
You
to
watched
think.
Vikings, didn't you?
Oh yeah, big time. I was considering a career as a Viking instead of CS when I watched it.
I
Um,
love the show Vikings. Such a good show. Pretty historically inaccurate.
you finished it, the whole thing?
I have not actually. I still need to
Okay.
watch the last bit. So
Well,
don't
it's
spoil anything
I
for
won't
me.
spoil anything. Um, man, Vikings is hard for me to think of a great character. Or
I hate Ivar.
Ivar,
Literally the scummiest character.
yeah, I don't really care too much for Ivar. Trying to think of the character I like the most. People go with Floki. I feel like
I like
Floki's a little
Floki,
forced
but
to be a character I'm supposed to like. I don't like that.
yeah,
He's okay.
he's a good character, but I wouldn't put him anywhere near my favorite.
I think my favorite. Oh man, I could remember a name and instantly switch positions on this, but I really liked Rolo. Actually, he was a piece of
I
shit,
liked Rolo too.
and dude secured the bag. The dude, he's living the dream.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, he is.
he's killing it, and you gotta admire that. Um, I
I
can't think
hate
of
I
anyone
hate to
else.
say it, but my favorite's Ragnar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say Ragnar,
I mean,
but
he's the main character, so it's a little like
it
on
is
the
picking
nose to
Mario.
say right. Uh, but Ragnar is such a fucking badass character, so fucking good. I also love Lagertha.
Oh, she is a badass too.
I
Okay,
love
fair enough.
Lagertha. I think Lagertha and Ragnar are like tied for first. I love her. I
Hmm.
also like Bjorn, but he's
Yeah,
like second to
eh,
them.
Bjorn is okay. They don't really. I mean, the problem with the show is Lagertha is supposed to be like 70, and she still looks like she looks 30
She's hot
at
as
most.
hell. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
total milf.
D- Gil, Gilf, Jilf,
Milf.
Jiff.
In the Based off her look, she's a milf.
Okay, fair enough. But she's supposed to be Gilf.
Right. Doesn't
Great
mean she is.
Gilf.
Rolo is also not Ragnar's. Rolo didn't live at the same time as Ragnar
Okay, well, I'm
historically.
not going to pretend I know
Right.
what the inaccuracies are. I'm sure. As I watched it, I was sure there is inaccuracies,
Yeah, there's a lot of inaccuracies,
but I won't.
which is funny coming
Okay.
from the fucking History Channel.
Yeah. Also, considering I play Crusader Kings 3, which is also historically accurate, of course.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, Vikings is a good show. There's a my friend Vinay. Vinay put me on this show that's on Amazon Prime called The Expanse. Pretty good show. Pretty good show. It's kind of a sci-fi space explorer, space opera. Um,
Space opera like Star Wars.
right. It's pretty good. It has some politics in it. It's set in the future, so there's pretty much like three factions. There's Earth, there's like the people that colonize Mars, and then there's the people in the in outer space, pretty much. Outer space. And there's sort of the politics plays between them. There's sort of a classic hero. There's a little bit of a detective mystery going on, and then there's like this alien force as well at some point, which is pretty crazy. It's kind of similar to Game of Thrones. Okay, you've seen Game of Thrones, Joe?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay, which are your okay? Game of Thrones. I think you can go a top five, and I can agree with pretty much any top five. But there is, of course, one my character, my pick, uh, and you can, and I go back and forth on it, but I have a pretty solid top three. But who are your characters?
Okay, first of all, bottom number one is um what's her name? Dragon bitch.
Daenerys?
Daenerys. She's fucking terrible at the end.
Are you okay? I'm willing to omit the endings because I really don't feel like they're canon. They are canon, but I don't
Right.
feel like they're
Well,
canon.
I mean, even in like, okay, like they stopped following the books in like what season 6 or 7?
Yeah, like end of season five, I think,
Yeah,
because I think there was no books to follow.
right. Uh, season 7 is where she starts getting. Well, honestly, she's fucking insane from the beginning. You can tell, but like she doesn't start getting bad until season 7, and then in season 8, she's fucking terrible.
See, I thought season seven because there was a lot of excitement about season eight, and a lot of season seven is like slipping, and like there's a lot of this retroactive like. Actually, the show stopped being good in season four when I stopped watching. Okay,
Yeah,
stop it, because season people will say cite like season seven and season six. There was some awesome episodes in season seven,
yeah, there were.
and season eight. The first like two episodes the first episode I remember watching and thinking, okay, yeah. Of course, this episode is not going to be the great one. They're still preparing. It's literally been like a year and a half until we've last seen an episode. This is the new content. Okay, they're catching us up. Right. And then I think episode two was the best episode of season eight, pre battle. And then I remember, even episode three that no one could see unless they had like, floodlights.
Yeah.
And I remember squinting at my screen, trying to see it. Even until like there was this suspect. It was pretty much until Arya killed the Night King. That's
Yeah.
pretty much when I lost hope for this year.
Yeah.
No. Well, it was about I was clinging to hope, but I didn't start clinging until that happened. So I don't know. I think pre knowing how it ends, like you could go back as far. I think you could redo season eight. I don't think you can redo season seven.
See, I don't think you need to redo season 7. Season 7's pretty good all around.
Right.
It's
It's building up to season eight, which is a complete shit show,
right.
pretty
8 was
much.
just fucking terrible.
Let me retract that. Not a complete shit show. It was everything but the plot was awesome.
Yeah.
Still, like
Yeah, right. Like the cinematography, special effects, all of that shit was still really good. It's just the story was literal ass.
in the moment when the Dothraki ride in with their fucking burning, I don't know, sickles or their burning
Yeah.
curved weapons. I don't remember the name. And when all the lights go out, I'm not thinking, why the fuck is your cavalry going in first anyway? I am thinking, oh shit, well, you just added like a million or like 500 people to the Night King's army. But I'm also thinking, oh shit. And then like they charge and everything, like the army of the dead comes in. That shit's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That I fuck with that.
Uh Best episode season 6, episode 9.
Is this the Battle of the Bastards?
Yes, it is. Best
Good
fucking
episode.
episode, dude. It is so good. I used to just watch and rewatch that episode.
And you can't anymore. You can't rewatch Game of Thrones because you know how it ends.
I know.
It's
I
just too
tried to,
painful.
and I just lost interest because I knew what was going to happen.
Even you, I remember putting my dad onto Game of Thrones and him watching. I remember him watching the Red Wedding,
Yeah.
and I couldn't watch it. I could not because I knew what the ending was, but the ending hadn't come out yet at the time anyway. But I remember like the epic moment and hearing the Lannister like theme go, the
Yeah.
Reigns of Castamere. Shit, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
but
was
now I can't do any of that. Like
so
there's like the
shocking,
fan
but
made
it was,
videos and
yeah.
stuff.
Okay, so top 3 characters for me.
Okay.
Uh I'm just going to lump them all into top 3 together cuz I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't.
if I can really discern
Uh,
between them in top 3. Oh my god, I forgot her fucking name. Okay,
Elena.
well, Jon Snow.
Okay, Jon Snow, classic.
Love Arya.
Really? Okay, Arya.
And I'm looking up
None of
uh
the Jon Snow might be in my top 5. Arya would not be in my top 5.
really.
No.
Okay, well, I don't fucking remember her goddamn name, but it's
The Queen of Thorns?
played by Gwendolyn Christie.
Oh, Brienne.
Brienne. Yes. Actually replace Arya with I can't remember his name. The red bearded guy.
Oh, Tormund. Oh, I
Yes,
didn't
I
even. I
love
wasn't even
Tormund.
thinking.
Jon
In my
Snow,
top 5, I was thinking.
Tormund, and
I
Brienne.
didn't. Tormund is probably the character I think of if you follow along like the Bunkmoorland into Janu into Tormund, but they really they really uh nerfed Tormund at the end. Like
Yeah.
he was a fucking badass in season 5 and shit like that. But he does become and he becomes a comic relief. So
Yeah.
uh I
He's
love every
just a
time he
great
says the big
character.
woman
Yeah,
and he
same.
goes, Dick? What is that? Cock.
me
Oh, I
and
like it.
me
Bet
and
you do.
Autumn shipped him and Brienne so hard. So hard. And
Okay,
she
so
she deserved him. She didn't deserve Jamie.
he was a true man.
Excuse me, Jamie didn't deserve her.
That's
She
true
is
too.
so much better than Jamie.
Well,
Eh,
Jamie at the end didn't deserve her, but
right.
Jamie could have deserved her.
Right. If he hadn't gone back to his sister like an incestuous dumb fuck.
Yeah, and died to 3 bricks.
Right.
Okay, so here's okay. These are excellent. Tormund is at least an honorable mention. Okay, as well as the little girl, Lyanna Mormont, excellent character.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think in no particular order, top 5 has to include Sam. Okay, has to include Sam. Pretty much, if your name is Sam in a fantasy TV show, you're a lock for top 3 for me. So
Yeah, that tracks.
Sam might even be the best character. But next best, okay, another contender, Sir Davos, the Onion Knight,
Yeah.
my guy,
I like
with
him.
like 6 fingers in total.
Yeah.
He has a lot of halves, so they add up. He's a great character. The Hound is a classic character.
The Hound is great too.
Gotta love the Hound.
I love his and
Um,
Arya's whole thing.
I just love that he's a grump, a complete grump. Like,
Yeah, same.
and he doesn't really change. But
No, he
at the
doesn't.
end, I really like the Game Bowl where at the end he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I'm kind of fucked. Like, I'm too far gone. But like, you don't really have to stay here and like kill everyone." Which is great to see, but also he does fuck up his brother too. He like conquers his like self,
Right.
his like
Yeah.
fears and stuff. Okay, and then oh, his name is escaping me. Tyrion's bodyguard, the sellsword, Braun of the Blackwater,
Braun's
excellent,
awesome too. Yeah.
awesome, top 5.
He's an honorable mention for me.
The Queen of Thorns, Olenna, great character.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there any other sleeper character? Someone worth mentioning is Hodor, of course.
Yeah,
But he doesn't.
Hodor.
He doesn't make it that far.
Yeah,
Trying to think if anyone. I don't think
Hodor
anyone
was a
else.
good character though. I liked him.
No one else. I won't mention anyone else, but you got to include those characters, if not in your top five, in your top 10.
Yeah,
These are
I mean, yes, I would
unstoppable
agree with
characters.
that. Do you know anything at all about MMA?
No, I can't even watch. I It's in an octagon. That's pretty much as I know about MMA.
Anything about boxing?
Nothing below the belt. And they
Yeah,
say it's a
that's true.
ring, but it's a square.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, do you know anything about Jake and Logan Paul?
I used to think Logan Paul was funny on Vine.
Wow, that's that's kind of cringe, to be
It
honest.
is very cringe, but I say kind. I don't. I didn't say hilarious like pee my pants. Like I thought he was
Right.
kind of funny. I thought he was
Okay.
cool. Like he could do. I remember he did like a backflip into like some trash or something. That was like his one famous one.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
So you know that's Logan Paul, right?
Right.
You know his little brother Jake Paul.
I've heard. I've the name. I've not been able to escape the name. I know. I know of.
Okay, well, both Logan and Jake Paul have been getting into boxing.
Yes, this I know.
Honestly, kind of fucking hilarious to watch their fights because they're so cringy. Jake is a much better boxer than Logan.
Okay.
Uh he's a lot less cringy, has much better form. I'm really big into boxing, by the way. That's the
Right.
only sport I really fuck with. But Jake Paul fought a guy named Ben Askren last weekend. Did you hear about that?
I know he secured the bet. He got like 65 mil or something. Is that right? Or
I
is
saw 75 mil.
okay, even better.
Yeah, it's an insane amount. But the thing is, like, it was a 1 round fight. Don't know how much you heard about it, but it was a 1 round fight. Leading up to the fight, Jake Paul was being so fucking cringy. So cringy. Dude's cringe pilled. He was just constantly trying to get at Ben Askren. Ben Askren is like kind of a veteran now. He's
Okay.
he's an MMA fighter, which is a big difference.
Right. But there
Switching
it's a
from MMA to
boxing it's a
boxing.
boxing match?
This was a boxing match.
Okay.
And so Jake Paul basically chose an MMA fighter who's known for taking people to the ground to fight them into a boxing match. So
Okay.
first off, he's cherry picking, trying to get an easy fight because he knew that Ben Askren could only take him down to the ground. But Ben Askren is still a hell of a striker. Ben
Mhm.
Askren also holds the record for the quickest knockout in MMA history.
Okay, I feel like you're building up to something I that I don't
Uh,
know.
I should say Ben Askren was the one who was knocked out the quickest in MMA history.
Oh, okay.
Took
Okay,
a
now
knee to the face. As soon as the bell rings, charged at the guy, took a knee to the face, and was out cold. Like
okay.
a 2 second fight.
Right.
Uh, but he's still a bad motherfucker.
Sure.
And so him and Jake Paul fought last weekend. And I have a hard time believing that this wasn't a throw because him and Jake are fighting. Jake lands one good punch on him. Dude goes down. Ben Askren goes down, pops right back up immediately. The ref walks over to him and he's like, "Hey, look at me, look at me." And he does this normal ref shit to check that he's okay.
Okay.
And then he goes, "Nope," and then calls the fight.
Okay.
And it was in the first round. And I have a really hard time believing that Ben Askren didn't just throw the fucking fight to get money. And so that Jake Paul could have another fucking win under his belt. And now all these fucking like boxing commentators are like, Jake Paul, you got to stop underestimating him. He's a pro. He's a pro. Dude has 4 fucking fights, I think, under his belt. 4,
He
all
beat
of which, except for Ben Askren, have been chumps.
he beat Nate Robinson, who is one of the most electric NBA players I've watched. Because he is he's short. He is very short. But when he dunks it, it's everybody goes crazy because he's shorter than me, and
Right.
he was dunk. Uh, and I think he had like I don't know how much more reach, but I do remember hearing that he won, or Jake Paul won against him, and it's kind of like, okay, kind of makes sense. I know there was a lot of hype. I think did he also fight the KSI's brother? KSI fought Logan,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And then the younger brother of KSI, Deji, I think he's like he's not as built as his older brother, at least from what I remember watching
Yeah.
him in like 2013.
Uh yeah, I mean Jake Paul is fucking ripped. So is Logan Paul. But Jake
Okay.
Paul is absolutely shredded, which doesn't actually mean much in boxing. Like me and my dad were watching a boxing match one night, and this guy, it was the undercard to the main fight, and this guy named whose nickname was Babyface
Okay.
comes in, looks like an overgrown baby, pudgy as hell,
Wearing a diaper?
but looked like it. I mean, the
Okay.
fucking boxing trunks look like a diaper because of the guard that they wear underneath, but
Right.
he looked like a giant baby. Absolute monster of a guy. Destroyed his opponent who was shredded. Probably had like 0.2% body fat. Destroyed the dude. So, my point is, Jake Paul is actually a chump. He's been fighting like fighters who are either came from MMA and were known for wrestling, being takedown fighters, fighting on the ground, and they can't compare in boxing because you can't do that in boxing. And so
Right.
he's fought Ben Askren, who's known for that, and then a couple chumps. And then people are like, you got to stop underestimating him. Dude, there are some boxers who will just blow your mind if you watch them.
Right.
Like Vasily Lomachenko is my
Okay.
favorite all-time boxer. His amateur record is 300, and I might be getting this wrong, but I think it's 367 fights with
Okay.
one loss. And he just lost his last fight, unfortunately. But like, dude is god in the boxing ring, insane.
Hmm.
And honestly, Jake Paul looks so fucking cringy, in my opinion. In my opinion, looks so fucking cringy in the ring.
Would you
His
fight Jake Paul?
No,
Why? Why not? You're a boxer.
because
He's a
I
boxer.
am a boxer, but I am also not training like he is. He actually
Okay.
has the money to purchase a team. This isn't
Sure.
going to be some Rocky Balboa story where I train at a shitty gym and then manage to go,
I haven't
the
seen Rocky
length with.
either.
You've never seen Rocky.
I've tried to watch it. I got bored. And like,
Oh, fuck you.
I'm
Okay,
on. It's on my watch list
it needs
for
to
the
be
future.
one of my favorite movie series. I love Rocky 1 through 4. So good, and then the
Right.
new Creed movies. Oh, so good, dude.
Right.
But
Okay,
anyway,
but you're not gonna be the champion of the world. Okay.
right.
Fair enough.
So I don't have. I'm also not shredded. I know the baby face thing. It matters more about skill than it does being shredded, and I stand by that. But I also don't think that I have the skill. I can analyze and I can see who's who's cringe pilled and who's not in the ring. Because I watch a lot of boxing and I can
Okay.
box some, but I can. I would not fight Jake Paul because he would land one punch on me and I'd be down. I know I
So he's a
would.
better boxer than you.
Than me, yeah,
You
absolutely.
you
It's
concede
not
that.
hard to be a better boxer than me.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Uh,
I can't really watch. I could before like watch the NFL and stuff. I can't really watch it. Uh, there's just some kind of uncomfortable imagery, especially with the NFL. But it just feels like it just feel I just really I get kind of uncomfortable with these guys who are just like killing each other, pretty much speeding up their deaths for money. Which
yeah,
fair enough.
yeah.
Get out when you can and that and like secure your bag. But it just feels it doesn't feel great for me.
And
But I'm
honestly,
not a fan of either sport necessarily. I
I'm
didn't
kind of
grow
the
up
same
playing
with
either.
MMA. I
Yeah,
I
same
I
thing
don't
for
watch
me.
MMA because I've seen too many fights and this I don't think that this is supposed to happen, but I've seen too many fights where one guy gets knocked down on the ground, is as stiff as a board, obviously knocked out, and his
And you're
opponent
supposed,
goes over and starts laying an elbow into his temple.
and that's what you're supposed to do. Like you, but
That's why I like
it's just
boxing, because
ugh.
if they go down, you got to back the fuck up and let them stand back up. Boxing is they call it a gentleman's sport
I don't know
because,
about that. Chess
well,
is more gentlemanly.
well, I agree with that, but there are a lot of rules in boxing, like no hitting below the belt, no kicking, no slamming on the ground, all that shit. It's
How often are
just
you
one
allowed
shot.
to bite an ear? Once a career?
Actually, he did it twice.
So more than once.
He did it same fight. Tyson bit he bit the motherfucker's ear. They stopped the fight,
Right.
and Holyfield, whose ears just got bit, was in the corner and he was bleeding profusely. And he was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then Tyson was like, "I what? Like what? What are you upset about?" And so then after like 2 minutes of deliberating, the judges are like, "Okay, I guess continue." And the ref is like, "That's 2 points off, Tyson." And he's like, "Okay, fine." They immediately
And the
clinch
other
back
guy
up.
was like, "What did you say? I couldn't hear you."
They immediately clinch back up, and then Tyson bites his fucking ear again. And then they're like, "Okay, that's it. You're done."
Man.
Yeah, so I mean, he's lucky that I'm stealing this bit from Robin Williams. Give
Okay.
credit where credit is due. Robin Williams says in one of his stand-ups, Holyfield is lucky Tyson didn't try to fuck him because he just got out of prison at this time. He's lucky he just got his ear bit, which is probably true. But Tyson is he's a crazy good boxer, but he is insane, dude. Like mentally, I mean, he's insane.
Oh, right. He owns like tigers and like.
Yeah,
Okay, this is a good. I've kind of been talking about uh, TV shows. Tiger King. What a fantastic, what a fantastic cultural experience, phenomenon of
didn't watch
everyone
it.
watching Tiger King at once.
I didn't watch it.
You know what? Okay, everyone who matters
I mean, I know
watched.
the fucking story.
Do you though?
I think
The dude is batshit crazy.
Carol Baskin,
Carol
right?
Baskin. Okay, fair enough. But did you get? You didn't look. Look, he has his. He has his. He keeps Joe Exotic. Okay, he
Hmm.
keeps these gay lovers with him,
Yeah.
and he like feeds them meth, pretty much.
Hmm.
And his husbands, I should say, not just gay
Is
lovers.
he married to multiple?
Yes. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's all in there, Joe. You need to watch this. Like,
I thought they were just his boyfriends.
no, 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 no. They're married. Not only are they married, I think they're also all married to each other,
Oh, interesting.
which is crazy. There's so it's an unbelievable amount of like can't make this up
And
crazy shit happening.
what state was this in?
Oklahoma.
You know, I always thought it was in Florida. I guess that just seems like a Florida thing.
I think there's multiple people from Florida who feature. It
Okay,
does
well,
it does have a a Florida man vibe.
right, yeah, it does. It
And it goes
really
above
does.
and beyond that. There's so many awesome moments. There's the moment where, well, I don't want to spoil anything really, cuz you kind of have to experience it just as is. Like you just kind of have to know that the show is batshit insane.
Yeah.
And then like even with knowing that, you can't stop watching. Like, and I couldn't believe how crazy shit was getting. I'm due for a rewatch on that, honestly, because like it was unbelievable the amount of stuff that was happening.
And you know,
Like,
like I know the TikToks about it.
okay, fair
I've
enough.
seen enough TikToks, I think, to get a general idea. Someone has fucking murdered someone. Uh,
Well, that's wrong, but
okay.
So that just proves.
Okay.
So your homework for next week, right? I watched A Good Place. You have to finish Tiger King.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I.
You'll watch it all in one. I know you're
Maybe I'll
taking
just
off.
ask Autumn because she's watched it all.
No, no, no. Autumn, most assuredly. Listen, who knows more about your wife, me or you? Okay.
Me.
Okay. Well, we can agree.
100% me.
Yeah. Anyway, you should experience it for yourself. Okay, unbiased, uninfluenced by anyone else other than telling you should watch it. You should just experience.
Okay, well, segue. Speaking of documentaries that were crazy, have you
Okay.
seen the documentary about QAnon?
No. Which one
You
is
sh-
that?
it's called like Into the Storm, I think.
Into the Storm.
QAnon
Hold on.
Into the Storm.
Let me. You're gonna hear some typing. It's me opening a tab that I will probably not reopen, so I can remember to watch this.
Yeah, it's on HBO now. If you have
Okay,
that,
I do.
it's 6 episodes. Super good, I thought. And I don't
Okay.
care to alienate this part of our audience. The QAnon people are insane, like bonkers, and I can say that because my parents are QAnon conspiracy theorists. They love
Right.
QAnon. I think I told you about my dad's shoes that have the number
Yes.
17 and
I think you told me this
WWG.
yesterday.
Yeah, I think I did. WWG one
All right.
WW
Yeah.
or WGA, where we go one, we go all. So fucking weird, dude. They're so obsessed. But the documentary narrows down to a pretty reasonable degree, I think, who QAnon probably is.
Okay. I will.
Uh
I will commit to having watched this by the next time we record. So like this time next week, I
yeah.
can commit to one episode. I think Tiger King is 10 episodes. The 10th was like a bonus episode. So it's like 9 real episodes of crazy shit.
Okay, I'll try to get through as much as of Tiger King as I can.
Okay, fair enough. But you got to start. You got to get on the Tiger King. I think I remember I watched the first episode like really late at night, and like immediately wanting to watch a second, but knowing I had to sleep and like wake up. This was back when I was still in school. Like wake up the next day and have to like do work, and then spending the entire next day in Zoom University finishing Tiger King.
Right.
So good. So many awesome characters. And you know what's crazy about this tiger show? It's like you don't really care. You kind of care about the tigers. Like they're obviously all pretty much in like terrible conditions. Well, not even terrible, but like, come on, it's a tiger in Oklahoma. Okay, that's pretty much what you got to know. And they take a backseat. Like that's not even the craziest thing is having these tigers. It's the people that get attracted to the tigers, and it's all these people. And like, okay, I'll spoil a little bit because
Okay.
just to explain, just to get it off my chest, to like uh, the degree of craziness is like they had a trainer who she put like her hand in the tiger cage
Hmm.
while she was feeding them, which is, apparently a big no no. And obviously it's a big no no
I would
because
imagine, yeah.
the tiger, uh, I guess, figured she was also feeding him her arm. So like there's okay, so they like reveal that, they cut to the news, there's like tiger attack at the GW Zoo, blah blah blah. And then like in like I forget the time frame, but it's less than a week, say like 3 or 5 days. She goes in back to work without her arm.
Wow, that's commitment.
And she, and okay, and you listen to this, and you're like, at the time, you're like, this she's batshit insane. You you literally lost your arm to this tiger, and she goes like, well, it was my fault. I shouldn't have put my arm in the cage. And everyone's like, of course you shouldn't put your arm in the cage, but you shouldn't go back to work either. Like she just kind of like
I
she got
bet she'll
bandaged up.
never make that mistake again.
Well, not with that arm.
Well,
Uh,
and she can only do it twice, so
She has one chance to do it.
Right.
Uh,
She has
I
one
mean,
more
there's still
fuck up.
time. There's
Now,
still
did it
time.
get like her whole arm, like
She,
shoulder?
I don't remember. I don't. I think. I don't think it. I don't think it went all the way up to the shoulder. I think she had. I think she had something she could move left over.
I mean,
She
like,
didn't have. She didn't have fingers. That's for sure.
right. I
She
would
didn't have a
imagine that
hand.
like it'd be up to near her elbow. I would imagine.
At
I'm no
least
expert on tiger bites, but
you
I
will
would
be.
imagine.
You will be once you watch it.
Okay.
And so like you watch her, right? And like they have all these people that are like the caretakers and everything. And you watch her and you think, why the hell would you ever, they talk about like their living situation. Why the hell would you ever agree to like this job, and like they provide housing, and like the food they eat is like all expired food and everything. And then by the end, you like, she like these characters you thought were insane will come in, and so much more insane shit has happened. You're like, thank God the voice of reason is back. The lady who went back to work after a week, to the same tiger who like lost her arm, and like she's the voice of reason at some point. Like they're all like, there's so many players that are all insane, and they'll each like take, it feels like each episode they aim almost at a new character, and everyone else will pile in, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's reasonable. Like, of course you don't fucking feed the tigers, this stuff, and like you're agreeing, and you're like, yeah, I know tigers. This guy seems to know what he's talking about. And then the next episode they'll go into that guy, and you're like, this guy's fucking crazy. What the fuck? And then it's constant. It's every episode there's like a new villain, uh, and somehow the worst, the like, it's just fantastic. So I
Okay, so
cannot
when does Carol
recommend you.
Baskin come in?
Carol Baskin, um, is probably the main villain,
Okay.
right? Without, uh, well, her and probably the U.S. government. She runs like Big Cats or something. Uh,
Is
Shout out
she
to all the
Joe
cool.
Exotic's competition?
Kind of. She's shout out to all the cool cats and kittens, uh, here. But she runs like, so. Joe Exotic runs the GW Zoo. I forget, it's GW is like named after his brother who died in a car crash, I think. And so he calls it a zoo. I think they have other animals, but it's for the tigers. Everyone goes for the tigers, and it gets into it, but they're into it for the tiger cubs. Everyone wants to see the baby tigers and like hold the baby tigers. But so he has this like breeding program. So what ends up happening is like you could only like the baby tigers are like the cash cow.
Right.
But what happens is he like breeds a bunch of these baby tigers for people to use. So he ends up with a bunch of fucking tigers, which, hello, are expensive. They're
Right.
tigers in Oklahoma. And so she runs a big cat sanctuary, which is totally not the same thing, where they have all these tigers on display, but they're like a nonprofit or whatever, and they're like advocating for the tigers and how. So you think like, oh shit, Joe Exotic is a piece of shit. He's got all these tigers, and then it cuts to Joe Exotic. He's like, well, I think Carol Baskin is a piece of shit because we love our tigers, and she does blah blah blah, and like she's actually as for profit as me. I'm like acknowledging it, and then they cut to this like third guy who runs like a sex camp or something, and he's the voice of reason, and he goes, oh yeah, kind of between the two, both crazy, but Carol Baskin is more crazy. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm really surprised this isn't in Florida.
I
This
think
sounds
parts of
like a
it are in
Florida thing.
Florida. Carol Baskin might be in Florida.
Okay.
But
Well,
anyway,
you
you
want to
got
wrap
me
this
very
up?
excited about Tiger King. And I can't recommend, you better watch it tonight.
I'll start it
Okay.
tonight, actually. I was planning on starting it tonight. All right. So,
Ugh,
hot take. Wrap this
okay,
up. Between the two, which would you choose?
right.
PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X?
Between the two,
Yeah.
I've always
No
been an
PC.
X I've always been an Xbox guy, but I would pick the PlayStation. hands down.
Yeah, same. I prefer
I don't know
Xbox
anything about the
controllers,
Xbox.
but I not really supposed to bring PC into this, but like anything you can get on Xbox, you can pretty much get on PC. And
Okay,
so I also just like PlayStations. I prefer the Xbox controller. I think it's a lot more comfortable, but I prefer
same.
PlayStations.
I think the exclusives just tend to be way better on PlayStation.
Right?
Okay,
Like God of War.
I've
It's
got one for you.
okay.
Okay, and maybe this is a two-parter.
Okay.
First of all, the number one goated song. Whenever it plays, you know, you got to sing along. What you could be in court and it's someone's ringtone, but you have to dance along.
Okay.
Okay, sing along. What is the song? What is that song for you?
Either Shiny Teeth and Me by Chip Skylark
Okay.
or what's it called? Pumped Up Kicks.
Okay. Two very different sort of
Yeah, but they're both catchy as hell.
that's true.
What about
That's
you?
true. And you it's at least a foot tap. Okay. I've got two as well. I think number one goaded song
Okay.
is September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Because
a good one.
every time they ask if I remember the 21st night of September, and of course I do, and I know, and you just got to go along with it. But the second part, and this is my answer to the second part, is the go-to karaoke song. Because for
Okay.
me, it's Country Roads.
Yeah, that's a good one. Go to karaoke would probably this is this is gonna be kind of weird. Maybe you've
Right.
never watched this movie, so you might not know this song. St. Elmo's Fire by John Parr. That would be my go-to karaoke song.
Okay, I'll give it a listen. I have not. I've not
Have you
seen the
ever seen
movie.
the movie?
No,
Okay. It's one of my all-time favorite 80s movies. Have you ever seen Breakfast Club?
no.
Okay,
Just stop
Jesus
exposing
Christ.
me, please.
Well, it has a lot of the same characters from Breakfast Club, but St. Elmo's Fire is one of my all-time favorite movies, and the song in it, bruh, just fucking fire.
Okay.
All right,
Would that
so
be on like a karaoke machine though?
probably not.
Oh,
Uh, that would be if they had it. That would be my
that would be
go-to
the song.
karaoke song.
Fair
I
enough.
love singing along to it. It's such a hype song, to be honest. If not that, probably Country Roads.
Yeah.
That's just the classic
And
to sing along to.
everyone knows.
Right.
Everyone knows the song except for my mom, who sings a country mama. She says country mama. She not a great lyricist.
All right. Well, we'll be wrapping up now. Thank you to everybody who's given us feedback and listened so far. Merc, Sammy, Trey. Big thanks to Eric, basically our marketing man. He's been a huge help.
Yeah, Ashton comes to
Ashton.
mind. Ashton, Kevin, Vinay, Muzzy, all people who've reached out to me at least and mentioned something. Jerry, I think, gave it a listen. Caleb, thank you all for let us know how we're doing and if we've improved. Let me know if I've improved. I don't really care so much about Joe.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think I really need to improve. So yeah, let us know if
right.
Billy's improved.
Yeah, and once we hit what 25 total listens, viewership, that's it. No more. We've hit it big. Dozens.
We'll take our first sponsorship then. So
Yeah,
sponsors,
okay.
if you're out there,
We know you're lying in wait. Netflix, HBO,
if,
since we've talked about all these shows, okay?
it's
Come get
normally
us.
like
NBC,
weird companies that do podcast sponsors,
not
like
weird
underwear
companies.
companies.
Excellent companies.
Yeah, excellent, but weird.
Excellent companies willing to sponsor us.
Yeah, I mean, whoever. But we're almost at 25. Keep that in mind. Yeah, almost made it big. So
Right. So the window is closing. Yeah, that's pretty
well,
much it for this episode. Huh?
thank you everybody for listening. If you'd like more content from Billy and I, our socials are listed in the show description. And thank you for listening.
Bye.